Okay, I'm back with another tutorial. This one is something similar to what I did on Instagram a couple days ago. Check the link below. Where it's still a pretty popular composite that people do, where you replace the actual eye. Basically, you take this and put it in the eye and come up with something that normally looks pretty cool. So I'm gonna redo what I did on Instagram the other day with an extra little bonus tip. So let's get started. So first we're gonna take this image and just drag it into our scene, which is this one, and just make it bigger to focus on the eye itself. Then we need this image, and we're gonna take this, and first we gotta take out the background, the black. So we get our selection tool, and if you notice, it's not giving us what we need. So there's a couple easier ways to select a circle, a perfect circle like this. You just drag from the ruler, hold down the guide on top, on the side, on the bottom, and on the other side. You get that? You go to your rectangular selection tool and you make a rectangle or square in this case. And you press Command T and you'll get this. You want to pull guides to the center, right on top of the little anchor points, and vertically in the center also. When you get that, you press Escape, Command D to deselect, and you change the selection tool from the rectangular to the elliptical. You go directly in the center, you hold on Option and Shift, and you pull it out, and it should give you the perfect selection that you need. Remove the guides, and you get that. Let's quickly apply a layer mask with the default colors. Press the layer mask icon, and it gives you exactly a perfect circle. So we'll just drag that over here to our scene. So we got this. We need to make it smaller to match the, we need to make it smaller to match the iris, I think it's called. So let's go down. Let's drop the opacity a little bit so we can see in the back and the edges like that. Bring it down a bit more, and that seems about it. Enter, and then bring the opacity back up to 100. So we have this. Not too bad, coming along. The next step, we need to remove, we need to add the pupil, which is this black area, on top of this. How do we do that? Let's drop the opacity back just enough so we can see both layers like that. Easy way, make a new layer and make pupil. Get a brush, paint with black of course, and click once, twice, maybe that much, 3 times. Bring the opacity back up to 100, and we get something like that. So of course we gotta do it again, a couple more, to spread it a bit more. That looks better. The next step, we need to change the blend mode of the earth to something like screen normally would work well for this. Yeah, and we get that. Now we need to remove the top area over here by adding a layer mask. Add a layer mask by clicking the layer mask icon. Get a brush, press B, and paint with black. Size the brush accordingly. Let's drop the opacity so we can see the edges a bit. And we just paint it out right on top of the eyelid. Like that. Bring the opacity back up, and we get that. So let's paint out all of the blue. And we end up with something like that, which is almost good enough. But another thing we gotta do is the edges of this. I don't know if you can see, they're too harsh, they're too solid. See the original where it's feathered in, it's soft. We need to simulate that with our image. So at this point, you could rasterize a smart object, right clicking, rasterize, get your blur tool over here. Let's try maybe 90. Make the brush a bit bigger, and this is just for the edges. And we'll do this just to soften it up. And go all the way around. Don't worry about the hair. Don't worry about the eyelid. We're on a separate layer, of course. So just keep doing it, softening it up until you get something that looks like it belongs. Come around. That's good. Zoom out and look at it. Much better. Now, let's do another thing. As you can see under the eyelid, like in this area, there's a shadow that's not over here on ours. See, there's a shadow, a darker area in directly below the eyelid. There's some here, but we're gonna add a bit more. Create a new layer. create a new layer above this layer, the actual iris. Create a new layer above the iris, name it shadow. You hold the Option key, move it in between and clip it to the layer below. And then get a brush, big brush. We'll do something like that. We want to drop the opacity a little bit, maybe 60, drop the flow a little bit. Nice soft brush, hardness 0, and we want to give it that shadow, just a little subtle shadow, like that. And we're left with that. Now, next step, of course, one of the final steps always is to blend the colors. It may not look like it needs blending, but they always need blending. So create a new curves adjustment layer on top, curves, and we're gonna adjust. We're gonna clip it to the iris, which is that. Let's bring this over so we could see. And maybe we should make it a bit darker, of course, just a little darker. Okay. Alright, this. That's that. Let me make sure we got that. Let's realize something. Make a duplicate of this layer. I'm just dragging it to the new layer icon. Of course it's messed up, but that's no worry. Put that back. Clip that back. Put that back. Okay, so let's redo this shadow by deleting. Get the brush tool and paint. Let's increase the flow and opacity. We want it to be a bit darker. There we go, just like that. Just like that. So this is where we're at. Not too bad. Let's add some shadows. The iris is a bit it's not really too bright, but oh yeah, it's too bright. So let's pick the bottom. Let's name it so we don't get confused. Iris 1. Iris 2. Iris 1 on the bottom, Let's create a layer mask on top. No, let's iris 1 on the bottom. Let's create a curves adjustment layer and clip it to that layer. And let's darken it a bit. Let's bring this down. Like that. And we get that. Basically, let's save. That's about it. It's pretty short. It's nothing complicated. Just gotta pay attention to the edges, and highlights and shadows. After that, we can just create our quick color matching gradient map that we did last on our last video. Pick a highlight color, which would be maybe that shadow color, something in the darker area, maybe over here. Click on top, gradient map, you get that. Change the blend modes, multiply, multiplies not too bad. Drop the opacity a little bit, and because this black is kind of staring you in the face, and the pupil, just drop it down a little bit, and we get that. So just another quick tutorial of a composite I did a couple of days ago on Instagram. Check it out in the link below, and I'll see you on the next one. So I realized this, the pupil, this black area is not symmetrical. So let's redo that. Let's delete that. And we get our brush tool. Increase the hardness a bit. We don't want it too soft. And paint. Not there. Right there. Paint on. Like that. And there we go. Looks a lot better. Save that. One of the steps I always do that you don't really see is I always go through Adobe Lightroom with my images, with my composites. So here we are in Adobe Lightroom. Let's go to Develop. And there's a preset that I always like to apply. A couple of my presets that I created. It's simply named 1. As you can see by the preview what it does. I love the clarity in Adobe Lightroom. Just bring it down a bit. Just come down, bring down the sharpening, increase the luminance. Vignette, darken the edges a bit, should work well for this composite. Let's go back up, maybe drop the overall, there we go. Oops. Right there. Before Lightroom, after, before, after. Export that, and we're done. I'll see you next time. Check out the link below for the Instagram version I did of this. It's similar, but it's quite different. I'll see you on the next one.